Alrighty. April 13th, 2021. It is 3:33 right now. So, starting one time, I'd like to talk about everything, really. You know how I am, but uh, I want to get into what's really going on today, right now. I just got news reports from people sending, we're all the news now, we're all sharing information with each other, that the Evergreen ship uh, had some stuff in it that was going to be used to modify our weather, our atmosphere. And for the people out there who are still, head buried in the sand, they're afraid to hear about that. Uh, it's true. They do modify the weather. They have been doing it for a very long time. Um, the goals are not always as well understood. From what I understand, this is a battle for your soul. This is literally, you're here in this world. You're allowed to manifest in this world and play out your karmic law, your karmic debts, and good karma as well. It's not just a debt, and experience life. But there comes a price. There are adversaries here that are also allowed to play their karmic debts, and oftentimes they gather, work together to infiltrate the world. The people who rule the world, they start taking over, and they use some version of their tactics that we're not going to get into in this video, basically to start controlling stuff and manipulate the masses. This is happening. This has happened many times over. Right now we're at the stage, we're in the fifth cycle that I remember. I guess maybe that's a good idea to start giving it stages. But at this point right now, what we see is the people have been in control of the governments, the religions, the educations, so long that they have actually, for generations, manipulated the masses to think we are less than we are. We're being programmed to think that we are just physical bodies floating around making noise, particles bumping into each other. I'm sorry, but that's a lie. I'm not sorry, but for a lot of people, it's going to hurt when they hear about this, especially college professors, college students who spent years and years and lots of money. And that should motivate you when you think about how hard you worked to learn a lie. And not all of it was a lie. It couldn't be all a lie because you wouldn't follow any of it. But the vast majority is a lie. You've been misled. Foundation from the base of what we're taught has been a lie. So we're taught that space is a vacuum, everything's particles bumping around making noise, it's a simulation. Well, there's partial truths there. We are living in a manifested reality, but that doesn't mean it's like a computer simulation. It is a simulation. There's an ether. There is fluid everywhere. And there is magnetism, the dielectric field. That is how things are built. What you're looking at here, this is a few magnets stuck together, a few magnets down here stuck together, and this is the field that comes out from them. They have a spin, right spin or left spin, depends on which pole you're looking at. That right there is how our bodies are made. That is how matter is made. That is how everything is made, by ether being shaped by consciousness. Your consciousness is what gives shape to the toroidal field. That's not a torus. That's just magnetism. So torus, side note, this is a good way for people, if you live anywhere around the world with satellite dishes or any kind of bowls, this is a good way to filter water. What you see here is a satellite dish with cleavers. We're going to plant cleavers on top. Have copper. You want copper because copper naturally kills bacteria. We've been convinced to use plastic and it's actually harming us. We need to go back to copper or silver or gold. Obviously, you're not going to make your pipes out of gold. It's more rare. Not as rare as they tell us it is, but copper's more abundant. So we use copper for our pipes. We used to use it everywhere, but we've been slowly, as they've been watering us down, manipulating us with our education systems or re-education systems, we've been taught to use plastic or CPVC or PVC or PEX, any of those. Yeah, if you're going to run pipe for sewers, PVC's all right, it works. PEX is great for running water lines because it's easy, but it comes with a cost. Everything in this life, if it's easy, shortcut, it comes with a cost. If you really want to achieve something in this life, in my opinion, you take the path that has some resistance that you overcome. You learn a lesson. If you just take a quick, easy path, like something in your arm today, you're defeating the whole point of why you're here. Your consciousness, that spark in your heart, the core of your being, that spark of source wanted to experience. When it came here to experience, it didn't come here, it literally manifested here. We're all doing this together at once. We are using source power to create this reality. And this reality is an ocean of energy. And we're dancing in this energy with our minds. So your emotion, you have a desire to create, then you think how you want to create, and then you physically take action. So we are literally manifesting this reality. Therefore, you manifest the reality and then you want to learn a lesson. Why would you take a shortcut so you don't learn the lesson? It kind of completely defeats the purpose of being here. But that being said, that's a lesson as well. So many people are taking the path of least resistance, which leads to more problems down the line, which then they say, oh, maybe I need to wake up and do that. So I'm not judging anybody, no better than anybody else. We're all equal. There is no better than anybody. We're all equal. We are all source-derived love from the core of our being manifesting to this world. I have no judgments of anybody at all. So when you are taking that path of least resistance, that quick shortcut, which, again, I did it. I had surgeries. I had many back surgeries. But I learned the hard way. I had to go through some really, really, really painful things to experience and learn that, wait a minute, I'm in charge of this body. I'm in charge of this mind. God put me in this position for a reason. All of us. You're not here just to float around, make noise, and I mean, if that's your plan, just to do that, that's fine. But there's a reason behind it. Nothing's on accident. Nothing's by mistake. There are no coincidences. So the water, this is the copper pipe. Then I'm using cat litter boxes, the plastic totes that your cat litter comes in. And I just put holes in the bottom. And this will be half of wash gravel, river rock, half 3/4 sand, and then 3/4 of charcoal. Those will be placed right here. This chamber, I hope you can see that. Yeah, you can make it out. So this chamber here is going to be water. It's a holding tank. So as the water drains through the cleavers and dirt in the satellite dish, it's going to go through copper. So you're going to filter out a lot of the junk through the cleavers. They're designed to filter garbage. Luna agrees. When it goes through there, it's going to go through the copper. Some of it's going to get cleaned by the copper pipe, whatever touches the pipe. As it goes through there, it's going to go in the holding tank. Ideally, I would make that out of copper. Make a plastic tote if you'd like and line it with copper. That's what I'm going to do when I make this. And then it goes from the copper again to the 3-stage filter. The water will go in here, filter through the wash gravel. Any more particles, big chunks, will get stuck in the wash gravel. Then it'll go to the sand. Any finer particles, this is what we use to clean our swimming pools and things. They use this everywhere. So you use sand. It'll filter out the bigger part, the smaller particles left over. Finally, you'll go through the charcoal to clean it, change the flavor, and it cleans. Charcoal is a natural cleaning agent. I don't like calling it an agent, but it cleans things, put it that way. And then from there, you're going to go through copper again into your holding chambers. Now, what I have here is 4 55-gallon drums. That's what my plan is using right now because that's what I have available. I have them in the yard. I'm actually going to get satellite dishes. If anybody wants some, I have a dozen of them that, just reach out to me. And again, this is probably going to people all over the world, so I'm not going to be shipping a 12-foot satellite dish to Hong Kong or something. But, locally, or just find them. They're all over the place. Or use any other method you can come up with. We're brilliant. We can create and come up with any idea. So ideally, it would be to have copper holding tank as well, but too much of anything is too much. So you don't want too much copper. I've noticed this myself. All my water I've been drinking for the last probably year now has been stored in a copper water vessel. So at the most, it's been overnight because I go through 3 gallons a day between who lives in my house. I go through at least 1.5 gallons myself every day. So if it's sitting too long in there with 4 55-gallon drums, my idea for this is a community garden. So I have a couple community gardens I plant at. I'm going to build this for one of them and test it out, see how it works, see how they like it. Ideally, if it's a community garden, you're going to go through them 4 chambers of water pretty quick. So that's what? 55, 100, 220 gallons of water pretty quickly, especially if you're watering the whole area and it's a hot summertime. So copper wouldn't be that much of an issue, but you don't want too much copper on the plants because it can harm them. It can kill them actually too much. So right now I'm going to go with plastic barrels, but again, it's going to be filtered through copper and stored in copper here for temporarily, then filtered, then through copper again. So, and again, you could turn this into a drinking water thing if you'd like, but right now my main goal is to grow food. Right now our food is being attacked. We are at war literally on every level right now, and one of those is attacking our food supply. There's people call him smart. I'm not doubting that he's smart, but he's left brain. He's, in my opinion, I'm not judging, but the things this man is doing that runs some of these big computer software places, you know his name. I'm not going to mention it because this video will probably get pulled. He's encouraging, so basically he's buying up farmland all over the world. I just heard he bought a bunch in Turkey, bought some in Arizona. He's buying it all over the place because their plan is to, and it's not him, it's the people he's working for, the beings that run them. They want to modify our food. They want to be the ones in control of food. The shipping container that was just blocking a prominent shipping channel recently that everybody knows about here locally now, well, worldwide know about it now. There are rumors, there are more than rumors, there are actually news reports in Turkey and a lot of other places that there was actually a chemical compound in these containers that was going to be used to spray in the atmosphere and destroy our crops. Now, I've posted proof, absolute proof in previous videos that they have been modifying the weather. They have been spraying particulates in the weather to block out the sun. And usually these people tell you what they're doing after they've already done it. So now they're saying, well, they want to block out the sun. So, long story short, that's a quick way to filter water. That's not what I'm here to talk about right now, but I want to show it before I erase it. So if you can, please grow your own food, organic, non-GMO. I just watched a great video of a woman explaining that a study in Russia they actually used pyramids they put modified GMO crops under pyramids, copper pyramids that were shaped like the Great Pyramid of Giza, the right angles. Now there are multiple angles for multiple purposes. Please do some research. But from that report that she claims, and I believe this because I've done experiments myself with pyramids. I have them. This is actually hanging from a pyramid right now. I'm not going to move it because it's going to be wobbling, but maybe I'll show you at the end of the video. That you can literally, after 2 cycles, 2 generations of that crop, it will revert back to natural. And that's what I'm talking about. That's the ether, the underlying pattern of ether that I've described in previous videos. I've seen it shown like this on ancient writings all around the world. It's like a pattern, but really what it is masculine and feminine energy, the dielectric plane. So if we really want to get into it, let's... somebody that's talking about this lately, he just posted a video on it, and it really reminded me of my lesson 1 that I posted 8 months ago. Cliff High, brilliant man. He does great work. I highly recommend you check his channel out. I've listed in other videos, I've listed dozens of people that have inspired me and show a lot of great things. But basically, you have a torus field. So there's a dielectric plane. There's matter being created in this plane here in the accretion disk as it's spinning around. Now, we have a field being created by the masculine and feminine forces spinning, and they structure. Let's go like this. And that right there is your magnetic field. Now, everything in existence, everything, there's nothing, there is no matter that does not have a field like that. It's impossible. So this is so... Mainstream science, we're taught, okay, magnets are, a fixed magnet, a neodymium iron boron magnet, or a ceramic magnet. There's many types of magnets. They say, well, this is what it is. This is what that field is. Yeah, you're right. It does have that field, but you're not getting the whole rest of the picture. The rest of the picture is everything has a magnetic field. This is what shapes our reality. So the ether, the substrate, the foundation, it's fluid, it's ocean, it's water-like, but it's energy. It's not really water in terms of H2O, what we call water, but it's a finer version of that. So mainstream talks about muons and borons and all kinds of boring, particle. They like to break things into particles and compartmentalize, and it's all about distracting you, getting you stuck on the left side analytical brain instead of the right side creative, beautiful, structure, harmonious resonance that we live in, that God built for us, and we're building with God, with the power of God. So again, none of this information is mine. This is coming through me. All the information, all the things we do, yes, we could take maybe 10% credit, maybe more, but it wouldn't be possible without source. Nothing is without source, without all. So that's how all this is coming about. So for people to erase that, the main point of everything, they're saying, we're biological beings and that's it, and trying to get rid of religions. Now again, I mentioned at the beginning of the video about religions being manipulated. I'm not against religions, but the way they exist right now, I don't like, because they're manipulating us. They're lying to us. They're telling you half-truths. So that's another video for another day. But basically, you live and I live, we all live in ether. It's resonating, it's vibrating, it's water, just, there's people who can hear it, but it's got a tone to it, a frequency. Now, if you go in really deep meditations, when I had my surgeries, I was bedridden for 4.5 years. I've done this before as a kid, growing up. I've always meditated, but when you're bedridden 4.5 years, you're there. What are you going to do? So you stop and meditate and calm yourself down and literally go in and you could heal. And I've healed. I'm shoveling dirt today. I just ran a chainsaw today, cutting logs up for the fire. I'm doing things that my doctor said you would never be able to do again. They gave me a 60% chance I wouldn't be walking. I'm running. I've ran. I don't run often because I still can't express full strength through my spine yet, but I'm really close. I'm climbing mountains. I'm doing a lot. So we have the power. I'm saying that not for bragging, but to show you, inspire you, hopefully. If you're out there with pain or aches and you're thinking you need something in the arm or you need a pill or something, it's all within. It's in your heart. It's in your mind. Know that you can do it, and you will do it. So the ether we live in is being shaped by that process. I have the desire to manifest a video that is coming from source to inspire my fellow co-creative conscious beings. And then here we go. I think about it, we're making it happen. Now this is on a physical form, yes. But have you ever thought about talking to somebody and then they call you? Have you ever wanted something, you're like, ooh, you know what, I really would like that meal, and then it just shows up. Now we get a physical form of this. You're talking about something on with your phone by you, and then you get an ad pop up for it. That's the bastardized version of this. But what I'm talking about is the pure essence. When I think of something, I'm manifesting that energy into the ether, and then I magnetically attract that to me. Now that's why it's very important to control our thoughts, to align our thoughts, to structure, harmonize our thoughts with love. That's why this new age movement, there's people being manipulated on every level. And when the people are just talking about love, I talk about love a lot because that's what source is. Love is the first manifesting power. But I know that there's more than, there's other aspects. There's the shadow side, the part that the ego creates. And we got to deal with that. Otherwise, you're going to block yourself into little compartments and you'll never get to it. So once we realize that, we look at that, we shine light on the shadow, then we heal it, we transmute it with love. So those people who just talk about love only, they're missing the picture, the bigger picture, which is common in this world right now. And myself included, I'm going to watch this video in a few years and say, ooh, I should have said this in there too, probably. So you have ether manifesting through consciousness. Now this dielectric plane here, this is the accretion disk where matter is coming from. And matter is literally getting a magnetic field to give it shape. So we know this in modern science now, electrons. There's a certain amount of electrons, they say, but they really haven't been able to isolate them because they shift every time you look at them. It's because it's energy fluctuation. Your consciousness is creating it. So a hydrogen atom would have one electron, they say. but that's just the amount of energy flowing around hydrogen. And it's literally our mind manifesting it, our reality, our co-creative ability to manifest. We're all manifesting hydrogen to have one electron, and oxygen and water, H2O, and things like that. We're manifesting all of that. There's a pattern in the ether. That's why these plants with pyramids can go back to their natural state. There is a fundamental pattern, a resonance, a water memory, if you will, that remembers your perfect health, your perfect essence. Because remember, you are source. Your spirit is source. Perfect, unchanging, doesn't need anything. It is. It is. And then you wanted to experience. Well, if you are everything, you don't have sensations like hot and cold, love, joy. You have love. That's just constant love. So some people, we choose to experience other things, like a shadow. So we manifest a soul. That soul then envelops itself with a body. It can have multiple bodies per soul. So you have your soul can last a certain amount of times, depends on how you treat it. But your spirit, that spark, that essence that is source, is infinite. It never changes, never goes away. You are always connected to that, unless you choose to ignore it for a while. But it never lasts. You eventually come back. Beings in this world right now have been away longer. And that's why they're doing certain things to try to harm us and convince us to harm ourselves, really, because we have to give authority. You have the authority. I have the authority. They know that. That's why they use so many methods to manipulate us, with Hollywood, with the news, with the media, with fear, with lack, artificial scarcity. There is no scarcity. We live in an ocean of energy. We can manifest everything we want anytime. But if you teach us we can't, then we'll say, oh, we need to go to the store and buy this. We need to do this. We need to work hard to, make money to pay this bill. No. So you have the magnetic field. This can be an atom. This could be an apple. This can be a tree. This could be a human. We all follow this path. This emanating from source, from ether. Now, again, ether is not source per se. Ether is a creation of source. So it's the substrate that we live in this physical, tangible universe. But source is so much more beyond that. We'll stay here for now, just so I don't lose anyone. So this could be a person. This can be a tree. The roots. This can be an atom with what we call electrons out here, electron shell. I used to love that in physics class, but then I realized that they're not particles, it's more of levels of energy. And an electron would be more of a coagulation, like a chakra, a bulge of energy. So, knowing this, and knowing that you are capable of anything, you could take your power back right now, if you choose to. If you could spread this video to everyone on the planet right now, and we would all know, wait a minute, there's nothing to fear. I am abundant, loving, and prosperous. I don't need to fear bugs. I don't need one of those, or any kind of pills or pharmaceuticals. I can heal myself naturally with thoughts, emotions, and then if I want physical plants, minerals, things like this. Because you are physical. I'm not ignoring that fact. I eat food every day too. I drink water every day. I'm not saying that I could just think about it and not have to eat or drink at all for the rest of my life. You can do that. There are people who go into the rainbow body state. There are monks in Tibet that have proven this without a doubt, that when you're done with this physical reality, when you're done playing in here, you say, all right, that's it, I'm done with everything, and you wean yourself off of everything, and then they go into a cave and they literally resonate out of this environment, this world we call reality. So that is a possibility. But most of us, anyone that I'm talking to here, we're choosing to walk around and play in this illusion. If you gather anything from this video, there's nothing to fear. We are abundant co-creators. We can manifest everything. We're in charge. God built us that way. But if you want to come here and experience things, there's also a cost. If you don't take accountability for your actions, somebody else will try to take advantage of you. There are out of balance egos. It's the other side of, so say this is the masculine side going outward, well, you have a feminine side going inward. So if you're out here creating, you're going to have some kind of resistance against you to show you, okay, I need to do this, this, or this. You need feedback. Otherwise, it would just be a hot mess. It would be soup. So we need masculine and feminine, or electric and magnetism, or pushing and pulling, north and south, whatever you want to call it. We need these different things. Hi, Dakota. How are you? Ooh. What are you looking for? Oh, you're looking for the cat food. Dogs are in here. So when you understand this, you know that you can heal everything. Your body, I said this in previous videos, you have a certain pH level. You want to be at 7.35 to 7.45 pH. When your body's there, it's resonating in harmony. This is resonating in harmony. The energy is circulating. Masculine's creating, feminine is structuring in a balanced level. If it's too masculine, it's too outward with no feedback. If it's too feminine, it's too much pull with not enough creation. So we want to be in the sweet spot. (7.35 to 7.45). Oh, the phone's facing me, so you can't really read it. It's backwards. Let's see how I can do this. Oh, not bad. 7.35. So your pH is important. The electrical charge of your body. Your body is electrical in nature. Our bodies, all of it, everything. We live in a dielectric plane. The universe is electrical in nature. The nuclear was another manipulation. You know, get some really smart people to tell you what it is. It's really not that. Now, there are parts of the world that work that way in terms of, if you look at it through that spectrum, it can make somewhat sense, but you're ignoring the bigger picture, the ether. Ether is the home foundation of physical matter. But home of the ether, the creation of that, comes from source within, the creator, the all, home, love, infinite love, always has, always will be. And we are part of that. But we're also convincing ourselves that we're not temporarily to come out and play this illusion. It's beautiful, but it's important to know where you are and know what you are. So in my opinion, it would be wise for us to remember and then live accordingly so we can raise the vibration at this point in the stage. Because right now, you have some people who are really, really out of balance. And what they're doing is using the subconscious to convince us that we're not as powerful as we are. And the subconscious is very powerful. So if you convince somebody that they're weak and frail and any number of things, people can't believe it, and they do. We see this right now. People are lining up for an injection that they tell us hasn't been tested for over a year on people. What happens 5 years from now? What happens 6 months from now? If you get that in your body, knowing it has MRNA in it that's designed to send feedback, send a vibration into your DNA, and then alter it slightly. Because remember, everything alters your DNA. Everything does. Every thought, emotion, feeling, sensation, it's all being recorded in the DNA, which is technically altering the DNA. But this way, with the mRNA, they're literally designed to change the DNA, the structure of it. And hopefully I'll remember to put a link in the video, but there are Pentagon videos that were leaked with people talking about disconnecting us from source, from that power, that knowledge that we are part of the ether, part of source. They want to disconnect it. They call it religious fundamentalism. Obviously, a left hemisphere egotistical brain thought of that term, but they are using it to convince people to do some pretty horrible things. And by knowing this power, knowing who you are, all their stuff unravels. They don't have a chance in hell. They really don't. If you know it, when you know it, their game's up, and they know that for a fact. That's why they're terrified of you. That's why they do the things that they do to us. That's why they're poisoning our air, food, water, education, religion. You name it, they're trying to poison it. and they're convincing other people to poison it for them. So by us being well armed with our knowledge, intuition, and balancing our body, drinking clean spring water, structured with the right memory, organic non-GMO plants that resonate the way our bodies like, with mineral dense food, with plant medicine, with yoga, with exercise. Yoga means connecting with source, connecting with God. However method path you do, that's up to you. But know that there are people who worship the ego and use their co-creative ability to further ego. Now, there's a limit there. Source, if you're working with love, the right hemisphere of the brain, you are infinite. There are no limits. The other side, there are limits. So that feminine destruction side, the shaping, I don't want to call it destruction because I'm not bashing anybody. Everyone's, all the forces, I'm talking about forces in general, energy. So if you are just on the feminine side, the structuring side without the creation, you're going to be imbalanced and you're going to have destruction. And that's where the time is we are right now, is there's a lot of destruction going on. There are a lot of people leaving this planet because they're afraid. Unfortunately, a lot of them are taking their own lives, and I'm sending love to all of you, all of your families. You don't need to do that, but again, it's your free will. You do what you feel is right for you. But there's hope. There's infinite hope within you. All the answers are within you. So if you want to truly heal and be abundant and manifest the beautiful world that we live in, learn how the ether works, learn how magnetism works, learn how your body works, because that's how it works. When you're armed with that knowledge, they know it. You're unstoppable. You are infinite. So, I know this is a lot of recap, but it's very important information, and I think it's valuable for all of us to hear it multiple times until we truly grasp it. So, good spring water, clean food, reduce the synthetics in your body because that changes your pH level. Know you can heal all this stuff. That's very important. Knowing the powers within you, that's the most important. And then acting accordingly. So when you walk into a store and somebody says, hey, put your muzzle on, explain to them that I don't need a muzzle. I know my body can handle this, can heal, and show them the laws. There are universal laws. The Nuremberg Code prevents them. We need to give authority for any kind of experiment. So any kind of things in the arm or everything else, we need to give authority, approval. If they don't have our approval, they can't do it to us. You don't have my permission to tell me to wear a mask. I don't need to wear a mask because masks, number one, don't work. Number two, they are harmful. Number three, it's about submission. It's not about health. If it's about health, all the poisons would be removed from our system right now. They're not, so they don't care about health. It's about submitting, making us step down like we're bad dogs, bad animals, like we misbehaved. And to that, I tell you, you do what's good for you. I'll do what's good for me. You have no authority over me. Source has authority over me, and that is it. That is all. I love you all. Please be well.